At the risk of making an ass of you and me, let's assume.
Assumption number 1. If you're shopping brand new Porsches like this Taycan 4S, you're doing fine financially. Assumption number 2. If you've got the cash for a six-figure fully electric Porsche like the Taycan, you already own other cars.
So assuming you're a loaded Porsche-phile with more than one ride in your garage, how might a Taycan fit into your life?
Likely quite well for 3 reasons, and yes, this is more numbered list than I'd normally subject you to. Reason number 1, the Taycan looks like a proper Porsche. If this body had a Panamera badge, most of us would be ecstatic. Reason number 2, it drives like a Porsche. Yes, the engine noise is missing, but applied to unobstructed curves, the Taycan delivers the driver engagement and lateral fortitude we demand from Stuttgart. More on that shortly. And reason number 3, while not the gold standard of electric range, the Taycan can cover ample distance for daily duties.
Basically, the Taycan is a Porsche that looks and drives like a Porsche, merely electrified.
First up, let's dig in with a barrage of data. The 4S I'm driving has, according to the EPA, a max range of 203 miles with the upgraded performance battery pack. And using its launch control option, the 4S's dual-motor all-wheel drive powertrain zips it from null to sechzig in as little as 3.8 seconds.
How does that feel? Let's come to a stop, put it over into Sport Plus mode, left foot on brake, throttle fully depressed, launch control active. Let's go for a ride. Oh.
The 4S is not the ultimate expression of Taycan, but for outwardly asserting the wisdom of electric propulsion, it works well. For more intense electric thrills, move up to the anachronistically titled Taycan Turbo or Turbo S. All those prices include destination charges, but they don't include options. And man, like all Porsches, the Taycan can be customized to a delirious degree. Okay, more about driving. If you're already moving and floor the accelerator, there's that instant hit of torque that we all love in electric cars.
But after that, there's a second, harder hit of acceleration. Why would an electric car do that?
Because unlike most electric cars, the Taycan's rear motor employs a 2-speed transmission, kind of like an automated high-low transmission from the old Outrun arcade game. I'm told this setup enhances high-speed efficiency, which I'll be sure to verify next time I'm in Germany.
I'm not committed to any particular technology, but I have grown accustomed to Tesla's uninterrupted thrust. Consequently, I prefer that to the Taycan's 1-2 punch.
Though contradicting my own argument, there is something intriguing about a mechanical downshift worming its way into an electric car. Electric motors can lack emotion, and Porsche is doing its best to counter that. And where electrified emotion is concerned, I am a fan of the Taycan's sound.
Normal mode doesn't sound like much, but if you activate the Sport Sound option, it unleashes an audible rainbow of sci-fi dreams.
Yes, it's fake noise pumped through speakers inside and out, but I'm told the audio is based on real vehicle samples. If you'd rather not enjoy the sounds of tomorrow today, you can always turn it off or recommit the Sport Sound's $500 fee elsewhere on Porsche's configurator.
Having wasted precious seconds talking about fake sound, I now have to rush through a bunch of details. Here goes.
The cabin is well outfitted and comfortable up front. In back, I find the rear seatbacks a touch too vertical, and the head atop my 5'10" frame lightly grazes the headliner. Thankfully, our car has the panoramic roof, a required $1,500 option on early build cars, which keeps the cabin open and bright. You know how you feel about the exterior, but I will note that this black plastic looks a little low rent, and the doors can easily hit high curbs. But overall, I dig the Taycan's look. In elemental form, the Taycan 4S includes keyless access, a partial leather interior, adaptive air suspension, and this curved gauge display. Options will bloat that figure, but the Taycan is eligible for a $7,500 federal tax credit plus state incentives to help offset all those essential options. For those who are cross-shopping, the Tesla Model S is a potential rival, though it's a very different expression of electric car. From my vantage point, Tesla has an instantaneously intuitive user interface filled with goofball fun, while the Taycan's menu structure takes more time to comprehend. The Taycan is also the sexier, more expensive choice, but returning to assumption number 1, you're rich.
Heads up, the Porsche Taycan only includes USB-C ports, so if you want to listen to Apple CarPlay and your Dua Lipa playlist on the way home from the Porsche dealer, you better bring a dongle.
Man, that was a weird sentence. Back on task, regenerative braking options are limited to on, off, and automatic. Even when active, off-throttle regen is modest, making the Taycan an electric car that likes to coast.
Unlike some one-pedal electric cars, if you want to decelerate the Taycan, you have to use the brake pedal. Thankfully, it feels good underfoot, and when you're using it, you're still recapturing electrons. That's some good regen.
The front trunk offers a tidy 2.8 cubic feet, while the rear trunk affords 14.3 cubes in the 4S and 12.9 in both the Turbo and Turbo S. Either way, you can drop those seats for longer loads.
The armrests are reasonably well positioned and soft, ranking high on the Mike and Muzio Elbow Comfort Index. If you can find a more accurate squirrel-based elbow comfort index, use it.
Though a middle rear seat is optional, seating capacity maxes at a realistic 4. Audio, navigation, and climate controls are handled via 2 touchscreens. The upper 10.9-inch display sports a pleasing design with a menu structure that nonetheless took some acclimation on my part. Meanwhile, the lower 8.4-inch touchscreen reciprocates taps with satisfying haptic feedback, though I've noticed the screen itself can get kinda hot.
Like the Panamera, the Taycan's vents are controlled electronically through a screen. And just like the Panamera, I think manual vents will be quicker and easier to use.
I should note that while Apple CarPlay comes standard, you still can't buy a new Porsche that accommodates Android Auto. Oh, and the optional 360-degree camera system is sweet. Ooh, look at those angles, wow. While Tesla owners have a vast supercharger infrastructure to exploit, Taycan owners can use DC quick chargers at Porsche dealers or Electrify America stations, to which free 30-minute charge sessions are granted for the first 3 years of ownership. And while the Taycan operates at 800 volts, allowing a best-case 5 to 80% charge time of around 23 minutes with a 225 kilowatt DC charger, a much more common 50 kilowatt charger completes an 80% charge in 93 minutes. That said, Porsche thinks most Taycan charging will happen overnight at home. And for long drives, you probably have a combustion-based solution. Hooray for assumptions! And if you were wondering, alternating current home charging can be done with either of the Taycan's charge ports, while DC quick charging is a passenger-side exclusive. Lastly, while there are numerous cheaper electric cars offering more range, the Taycan's appeal can't be distilled into a cold numeric evaluation. Its essence blends sultry style, emotive performance, and forward-leaning technology that's only slightly obscured by a haze of Porsche complexity.
In short, the Taycan proves that combustion is not required for Porsche's spirit to thrive.